and be prepared to earn a bachelor's degree and beyond. The mission for the school is through a personalized environment, service, learning, and blended high school and college curriculum. South Early College High School will equip students to be effective problem solvers and college graduates who will make a positive impact on their local global communities. And since our vision is to make sure that every student receives an associate degree, we need to ensure that every student is set up for success in that. One of the primary ways, or the primary way, is through the TSI. The TSI is the Texas Success Initiative Program. It determines whether or not a student is ready for college level work in reading, writing, and mathematics. In reading, writing, and mathematics. So, for a student who attends South Early, they will need to get the amount of credit hours you see in each of these areas for an associate's degree. And we're going to go over what some of these courses look like in a second. But there are a total of 60 hours. You have 42, which would be considered core hours, and then you have 18 hours of electives. Some of these classes are extremely rigid and cannot be substituted. Others, you have different options that you can use. But in order to take these classes, the majority of these classes, you will have to be TSI approved in both math and English. In both math and English. This is a list of the common courses that we offer. So you see English 1301, English 2322, humanities, all the math classes, chemistry, geology, biology, astronomy, music, theater, art appreciation. Now, each of these, they've already aligned, and I'll go back so you can see with the area in which they are needed. So you'll see that in communications, you need 6. And then as we look at communications, the only courses in communications are English 1301 and 1302, which means you have to take these classes in order to get the associates. The same thing with our history. You have to take both parts of U.S. history to get the associates. But as you can see, if you look in the third column on both, students have to be qualified TSI in reading or math, and in some cases, both, in order to take these classes. There are only 2 courses that you can take that do not have a qualification standard. That is the POFI class that many of you have taken already, and the EDUC. I need all students to understand, parents who are on here as well, students who are enrolled in POFI and EDUC, that does not mean that they are clear to take other college classes. The only requirement to take those 2 classes is that you attempt the TSI. That is the only requirement. All of the other classes you see, a student must be qualified in order to take those classes. Now, this year, we're really pushing the TSI, and for our 11th graders, we're really pushing the SAT. And the reason is there are new state testing guidelines. In HCC, they give us opportunity to get TSI waivers. And those waivers, some of those will not be applicable this year. And so I want to go and make sure everybody understands how it is that you get qualified to take a course. So let's start off with a math course. You will take the TSI math. If you score a 950 or better, then you qualify, we will enroll you in the course. If you do not, immediately following that test, you will be given a diagnostic. If you score a 6 on the diagnostic, then you have met the standard, you will be enrolled in the course. If you don't meet that, then we have other options. You scored a 4,000 or better on the Algebra 1 test in 8th or 9th grade. You scored a 530 I mean, a 510 or better on the PSAT in the 10th grade, or you scored 530 or better on the SAT in the 11th grade. That is the process in order for you to be qualified for a math class or any class that requires math. If you do not meet any of those qualifications, you will have to go back and start all over again with the TSI. You will have to retake the TSI, and this process continues until you meet the standard. Until you meet the standard. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Some of these courses you cannot take until after sometimes you are already needing those classes. So most of the math classes is Algebra 2. For many of you, that is in your junior year. So if you do not meet the qualifications by the end of your 10th grade year, then you will have complications being enrolled into those classes. You will have complications being enrolled into those classes. Every student takes the TSI upon entering this school, so TSI is our first stop. Now, that's math. Let's look at our English. English is a little bit more complicated. So you take the TSI. If you get a 945 on the English or better, then you need to make sure you get a 5 or better on the writing, on the essay. If that is not the case, then you will need to retake either or. Either or. Now, if you scored a 4,000 on the English 2 test, you can get it waived. If you scored a 460 on the PSAT in 10th grade, you can get it waived. If you score a 480 on the SAT in 11th grade, you can get it waived. However, I want to make everybody understand this year there is a new STAR test, and we're going to get to that in a second. And that is going to cause some complications with some of the waivers that we have. So this is the process in order for you to be able to qualify for classes that require English or reading as your TSI qualification. For the TSI qualification for reading, you have to be qualified in both the reading and the writing. So it's not just a score in the reading, you also have to receive the score in the essay. You also have to receive the score in the essay. Now, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we ask for you, 9th and 10th graders, to work hard and try to prepare yourselves by doing TSI tutorials on Apex. Our juniors, we're asking you to do SAT prep on Khan Academy. The reason for that is because of the changes to the state. How is this year different? There's a new STAR test. It's called STAR 2.0. Those scores will not be in to the schools until August, which is too late for us to use them to enroll students into summer and or fall sessions. So if you are a 10th grader, we cannot rely on your English 2 scores. If you are a 10th grader, you do not take the SAT. And if you are a 10th grader and you have already taken the PSAT and you have not met that score, the only option you have to take dual credit classes next year is through the TSI. As of right now, less than half of the 10th graders are qualified. 9th graders, the same thing. You will not take the English test until your 10th grade year. You will not take the PSAT test until your 10th grade year. But it's going to be extremely difficult to get the associates if you're not TSI ready in your 10th grade year to start taking electives. Also, if you are, we do not know what the state is going to grade these as far as scales. And we also do not know how HCC is going to use the new scale scores from STAR. TSI is automatically a part of HCC's enrollment. All of the others are waivers and they can be taken away. They're not guaranteed. The TSI standard is guaranteed. It is guaranteed. However, you cannot use a STAR waiver If you are in 9th and 10th grade, you cannot use a PSAT waiver at this point if you are in 9th and 10th grade for the fall 23 semester. So TSI is the only way for you to qualify to take dual credit classes. And please remember, that's 60 hours. If you only are receiving 6 hours this semester, and you are in 9th grade, you're going to have to complete 60 hours over your last 2 years. That is about 60 hours. That is going to be a lot. That is going to be a lot. Now, how does this affect you? You are in 10th grade, English 1301, 1302, and History 1301 and 1302 are requirements for the associate's degree. There is no getting around those. And also in addition to that, they must be taken consecutively, which means you have to take English 1301 before you take English 1302. So you cannot qualify mid-year and be placed in 1301. So you have to be qualified this year. Students enrolled in Geometry and Algebra 1 will not be able to enroll in Math 13 and 14 or 1316 without the requirement. These are also requirements for your associates. You cannot receive your associates without taking a math class. You have to take at least one dual credit math class to receive your associates. Also, students can only take a certain number of college courses per semester. Usually it's 5, and that's if you're a complete good standing. That's also if you don't need any other classes for high school graduation that we have to offer here on campus. So with that being the case, if you are a sophomore and you do not take dual credit classes next year, you're going to have to work really hard over the summer between your junior and senior year, and maybe a mini session in the Christmas break in order to receive your associates. Our goal is to ensure that every student that walks through our doors receives an associate degree when they finish. That is our goal. So, what should you be doing? 1, you need to look up your TSI report on AccuPlacer. Every student has taken the TSI. And in a moment, I'm going to give you some time, and your advisors in your classroom are going to be able to help and assist you with finding your information. 2, you need to complete lessons in the Apex TSI tutorials. So make sure that you look at your report. Your report will tell you areas that you need to strengthen or get better in. Find those lessons in your Apex and complete those. And then you also need to make sure you sign up for TSI opportunities. We have a TSI this Saturday, but that one is full. We will have more opportunities coming. So when you see those, please make sure you sign up. For our 10th graders, we may be doing a school-wide TSI testing. That information will be disseminated to you probably next week. But for everybody else, if you still need to be TSI completed in an area, you need to make sure you signed up. And then also, if you need help in math, Ms. V has collected some students who act as math mentors. Please make sure you work with them when they come to your classes. Do not sit back and just say, oh, it's going to be okay. Oh, I have this. Make sure that you are completed, because if you're not completed, we cannot get you the associates. If you're not completed, sometimes you just cannot take any college classes, period. Just a reminder, you do not have to take the test more than once if you've already passed it. So you will take TSI Math, TSI Reading, TSI Essay. If you pass the math and the reading, the only test you have left to take is the essay. If you pass the essay and the math, then you only have to take the reading. It is not one test with 3 parts. They are 3 individual tests. They are 3 individual tests. For students, and I'm going to put this in the, I'm going to put Excuse me. I'm going to put this in the chat for teachers, but if you go to the AccuPlacer webpage, you will be able to run your TSI report. That TSI report, once you get to this webpage, you see where you are. You will click on your AccuPlacer or TSIA score report. Once you click on there, you will have to put information into the system. This student ID is your HCC ID. That is your W number, not your HISD ID. Please work with your advisors in your class. They should have a roster with that information on it. Advisors, if you do not have that information, please send me an email and I can provide that information for your classes. You will do that. You will fill this information out. It will ask you if you want this email to you, you will say yes. And a minute or so later in your email, you will have your AccuPlacer report with all of the information that you need. Those of you who have already met the standard, congratulations. I need you to help somebody else. We need 100% of the students on our campus to be approved through TSI. It makes it so much easier for us moving forward for you to take classes. It makes it so much easier moving forward for you to take classes. So I know that was a whole lot. Hold on, somebody's in the chat. Yes, this is being recorded, Ms. Spikes. And once it has been recorded, I will have Mr. Rocco uploaded to our website. So at this time, advisors, please scan the room. If there are any questions, put them in the chat so I can answer them. Advisors, if you have students in the 9th or 10th grade especially, I'm going to ask that you have all of them go ahead and pull up their AccuPlacers, and that way they can pull up their score reports. They can forward those emails to you so you can have them as well so you can better support them. So the PSAT does. The PSAT, so the question in the chat is, do PSAT scores affect TSI completions? You can use a PSAT waiver, and I'll go back here. However, the PSAT has to be in the 10th or 11th grade. If you are a 9th grader, you take the PSAT 8-9. That is not the one that is used as far as a waiver. You took the PSAT back in October. If you had not, we already know who has met through that. So if you've met through that area, we will inform you of that. But if you did not meet it, you will not be able to take the PSAT again until next fall, which will prevent you from, if you're going to use that, will prevent you from taking courses in fall 23. Thank you for the question. As Mr. Register, I'm seeing that's coming from your class, so that is a 9th grader. So no, their PSAT scores will not be able to apply. The PowerPoint, yes, I will have Mr. Rocco, the PowerPoint will be moved to a PDF, and I will have Mr. Rocco place the PowerPoint and the video on our webpage. It should be up there later on this afternoon, and that is to Christian, one of our guests. Okay, at this time, if there are no other questions, advisors, you can log off. Please work with your students on making sure they run their reports and get those to you. I will stay on to answer a handful of questions for the next few minutes. Give me 1 second, Ms. Pascos. I will email you that link, and you can email that link to your students. No, I kept everybody muted. So how can you access? You would just need your child's information. I'm going to put the link to the AccuPlacer in the chat. If you go to this website, you just need your child's information, but it will only email it to your student. It will only email it to your child, so they would have to provide that to you. Okay. If there are no other questions, I'm going to stop this meeting and end. Please have a great day. And any other questions can just be emailed directly to me. Thank you all so very much. Thank you, advisors. Thank you, parents, for joining us. You all have a wonderful day.